Hi, madam. We are from Group 6. Today we will present our group assignment and prepared by Loh Jun Cheng, Siti, Nurasliza, Binti, Mahamat, Fadhlin, Adibah, Zarifah, Binti, Abdul, Wahid, and Loh Jun Cheng. Next is our content. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Theory and Literature Review. Chapter 3, Analysis and Finding. Chapter 4, Conclusion and Suggestion. 5 is Reflection.
And first of all, I'll be explaining about the introduction. Before we go deeper into this research, I'll be giving some ideas on what the reality of consumer behavior nowadays. Consumer behavior in the marketplace is not static. It changes over the time and in response to the changes in social environment. Today, consumer behavior usually depends on different factors, which can be classified into 3 factors. First of all, before customers buy a product, they will compare it with different brands, and finally, they will choose the best product that meets their requirements. This is done in order to realize the cost effectiveness of the purchased product. Next, customers are more likely to buy from companies with higher online reputation. Consumer places a high priority on the perspectives or reviews of others, even strangers, and they will take those reviews as their guidance before purchasing a product. And lastly, modern customers are eager to be among the first to experience new trends. Today, consumers, they don't want to wait until the next day to get something new. For instance, if Apple launched new Apple's product, there will be a huge line of people in front of the Apple's official store. These so-called early adopters, they want to be the first one to get the first-hand look at the new technology. Next, I'll be explaining about our research question, research objective, importance of study, and research methodology. A research question is a specific question to which the research aims to respond, where the first stage in any research effort is generally to formulate a research topic. Our research objectives are to find out the attitudes of the customers about a product and also to study the factors that change consumer behavior. This study is important as it can help us to prove whether customers meet similar standards in assessing their expectations, service quality, and satisfaction. For the research methodology, this research used a primary quantitative research method by using a survey where a set of questionnaires was used to collect the data. The questionnaire consists of 3 parts, which are respondents' background with 3 items, consumer behavior 1, 6 items, and consumer behavior 2, 5 items. For consumer behavior 1 and consumer behavior 2 are evaluated using 5-point Likert type scale. Then, the data collected from 15 respondents and is conducted face-to-face and virtually to collect the data. After the implementations of the questionnaires to the respondents, Microsoft Excel software was utilized to analyze the data by calculating the percentage of each items and analyzed by using a method of descriptive analysis.
Now I'm going to present about the theory part. Consumer demand. Consumer demand is defined as purchasers' willingness and ability to acquire varying quantities of a good at different price over a set of period. The demand law combines supply and demand rules to illustrate how the economic market has allocated resources and how they control the price of goods and the price of service that we encounter nearly every day. As the principle of demand, the volume purchased is negatively correlated to the goods price. There have been 2 parts to demand determinants, an internal factor and an external factor. There is a positive link between a consumer's income and the number of goods willing and able to purchase. To put it another way, as income rises, so does the demand for this thing. As income falls, so does the demand for these goods. Consumer behavior is defined as the dynamic combination of effect and connection, behavior and environmental events by which human beings conduct the exchange portion of their lives. Consumer behaviors comprise how the consumer's feelings and inclination influence buying conduct. Consumer behavior involves all exercise related to buy, utilize, and transfer of products and administrations, counting the consumer's enthusiastic mental and behavioral reaction that go before or take after this exercise. The utility concept is concerned with people's preference or values, as well as assumptions about the preference that allow them to be numerical useful stated. Meanwhile, utility is a metric that measures our satisfaction, benefit, or enjoyment as a result of consuming a good. Util is a metric for measuring utility. The total utility is the total satisfaction we get from consuming a specific quantity of goods. The increased utility derived from consuming an additional unit of given good is known as marginal utility. The utility can be explained within 2 cases, which are cardinal utility and ordinal utility. Ordinal utility theory states that although the enjoyment associated with consuming goods or service cannot be quantified numerically, it can be organized in an order of choice. The utility can be quantified relatively by using ordinal utility techniques, such as less than and greater than. The concept of cardinal utility is a measurement of utility that tells how the utility can be expressed in numbers, and the consumer can express his or her satisfaction numerically. In other words, the value of cardinal utility is related to the price we are willing to pay.
Now is our literature review. The goal of this study is to determine mechanisms from various brands, whether purchased online or for other. Furthermore, it is based on the price of various fast food places. Some kind of various and financial level will have very perspective on how they would pick between these options. And the consumer economic theory is a hybrid of positive and negative idea because it is based on rational maximize product. It is said to describe how consumers should select as well as how they do. Next, we find one article journal is about the factor influencing consumer behavior. The article major goal is to comprehend the impact of elements that influence purchase decision related to consumer engagement, measurement, or budget decision. Consumption expenditure are possibly sector according to the categorization estimated by the European Community Statistical Office. Then the result of the poll revealed that product attribute and perceived quality are the most important variable influencing purchases across all community grouping. We discount the better price. However, for the community group health price, for example, it did not show on the scale of purchase relevant at all. Then this table shows better influencing prices of particular community. At all criteria rank 1 to 5 in terms of purchase related to purchase decision. The survey finding and subsequent data analysis revealed that the most essential element for all community are the product quality and quantity. Then the achieved analysis allowed for the definition of decision-making criteria, and as a result, the ability to specify which factor should be addressed with the aid of marketing joint.
Next, Chapter 3, Analysis and Findings. For this chapter, it can be classified into 3 parts. Firstly, Part A, Respondent Background. First of all, the gender of the respondents. Based on the figure shown, there are 53% of male participate in this survey, which means 8 out of 15 respondents are male, and the remaining 47% are female, with 7 respondents. Next is the ethnicity of the respondents. In this survey, the highest ethnicity is Chinese, with 8 out of 15 respondents, which means 53.33%. And the second highest is Malay, with 6 respondents, 40%. And only 1 respondent is Indian, 6.67%. And there are no other ethnicity in this survey. For the age of the respondents below 30 years old is the largest part of this survey, with 9 out of 15 respondents, 60%, followed by the second highest is in the range of 31 to 40 years old, 3 respondents, 20%, and the third highest result is above 51 years old, 2 respondents, 13.33%, and lastly, only 1 respondent is in the range of 41 to 50 years old, 6.67%.
Now I will present the Part B, Consumer Behavior 1. First, for the question 1, I prefer to purchase goods or products depending on their brands. From the bar chart, we can clearly know that the majority of respondents will prefer to purchase goods or products depending on their brands. And we can see from the chart, 3 respondents are choosing strongly agree, 8 respondents are choosing agree, 5 respondents are choosing moderate, while only 1 respondent is choosing disagree. From the graph, we can know that majority of people would like to purchase goods or products that depending on their brands. From the bar chart of question 2, the option strongly disagree and disagree has 1 respondent each, while the majority of the respondents, which is 8 respondents, are choosing moderate, 4 respondents are choosing agree, and 2 respondents are choosing strongly agree, with the statement of even if the price is high, I am glad if I can buy branded goods. And the question 3 is, if my income rises, I will increase any purchases of goods, with the assumption of ceteris paribus. The bar chart shows that there are no respondents that choose strongly disagree, and only 2 respondents are choosing disagree, while there are the same numbers of respondents that choose moderate and agree, which is 5 respondents, and 3 respondents have chosen strongly agree. From the graph, we can know that the increase in income may make people become more willing to purchase goods. You can see in the bar chart of question 4, the vast majority of respondents are agreeing with the statement, if the price of goods is low, I will increase my purchases, with the assumption of ceteris paribus. There are 10 out of 15 respondents are choosing agree, while the rest are choosing moderate and strongly agree. Therefore, we can know from the graph that people are more likely to purchase goods when the price of goods is low. Next, for the question 5, I prefer to buy goods online rather than in person. There are no respondents choosing strongly disagree, and there is only 1 respondent who is choosing disagree. Besides that, respondents that are choosing moderate are 8, while respondents that are choosing agree and strongly agree are 4 and 2 respectively. By viewing the above bar chart, we can conclude that the highest until the lowest responses are moderate, agree, strongly agree, disagree, and the last is strongly disagree. The last question in Consumer Behavior 1 is question 6, which has the statement purchasing goods online is more convenient and cost-effective. Only 1 respondent is choosing strongly disagree, while there are 5 respondents who are choosing moderate. 7 respondents are choosing agree, and 2 respondents are choosing strongly agree. From the graph, we can see that the majority of people are agreeing that purchasing goods online is more convenient and cost-effective.
I'm going to elaborate about Part C, Consumer Behavior 2.
Based on the bar graph, we can see that 7 out of 15 respondents choose agree for the following question. If the price of goods A falls by 50%, I will purchase it with an assumption of ceteris paribus, and it gets the highest score compared to the other options. We can interpret that when the price of goods falls, the consumer tend to increase their consumption as the price is cheaper than before. Thus, the law of demand is applied in this case. From the bar graph, it shows that there is no respondent who strongly agree to purchase good A, even the price of the good A is high. Most of the respondents choose moderately whether they will still purchase good A or not when its price is high, because there are choices between two goods. Thus, the good with lower prices will become a better option for the consumer. This particular bar graph shows that total of 7 respondents agree that they will buy the goods A if the price of the goods B rises by 50%. And the second highest score is moderate, consists of 4 respondents, that is 26.67%. The majority of consumers altered their purchasing habits by switching to a logical replacement. Based on this, we can conclude that the consumer tend to buy the same product but lower in price. It shows that price played a significant role in influencing consumers to buy the product. The bar graph illustrates the number of respondents who respond to the question, if my income increased by 50%, I will purchase the goods A with an assumption of ceteris paribus. When compared to the choice of disagree and agree, strongly disagree and strongly agree that had the same number of respondents, which is 2 and 1 respectively, the choice of moderate has the highest number of respondents, which is 9, that is 60%. In this situation, even though the respondents' income increased, they will consider buying the good A due to their wants and preferences. As we can see from the graph, shows the respondents respond to the question, if my income increased by 50%, I will purchase both goods A and goods B. 4 out of 50 respondents, that is 26.67%, choose moderate, which is the highest score compared to the other option. For the option of disagree, agree, and strongly agree, get the same number of respondents, which is 3, respectively. From this situation, we can justify that the consumer did not choose either agree or disagree to purchase both goods A and goods B, even if their income increased. This is because to some extent, everyone used mental budgeting and planning to keep track of expenses and spend according to their income level.
Conclusion part. According to the study above, we conclude that consumer demand is defined as a buyer's willingness and ability to purchase varying quantities of a good at various price over a specific time period. On the other hand, consumer behavior changes over time due to constantly changing factors such as income, age, education, and fashion. From the survey obtained, we collect the data from the background of the 30 respondents who come from different backgrounds, including gender, ethnicity, and age. Undeniably, gender, ethnicity, and age are the factors influencing consumer purchase behavior. We can conclude that the most consumers prefer to buy goods depending on their brands, price of goods, and consumers' income. For example, when income rises, consumers are willing to buy whatever they want in greater quantity. In conclusion, we can conclude that consumer behavior will be changed frequently because people have different habits and perceptions in purchasing goods or products. As a first point, we can keep notes of expenses. Keep track of your spending daily. Even if you are doing well financially, it is critical to keep track of your expenses daily. Besides that, we should cultivate the habit of saving. The COVID-19 crisis will be resolved in the near future due to public efforts, but the economic scars it leaves will be long-lasting unless a sufficiently bold and forceful fiscal response is implemented.
And now comes to our discussion. We need help in expanding our knowledge, especially about consumer behavior through finding from various sources. We are helpful in a way that we can learn about the current situation nowadays and can relate with the theory learned in our class. Next is challenge. It may be challenging to work in a group at times. People with opposing viewpoints may not always agree with one another. I was the communicator for all of the different tasks. I made certain that everyone was on track with our goal. I also double-checked that everyone was okay and enjoying their part in the group. My group collaborated to gather ideas from each other and combine them into one. At first, my thoughts about the group process were mixed, but at the conclusion, I feel like we had successfully put everything together. So that is all about our group assignment. Thank you, Adam.